and programming of distributed system as well. That we talk about the MPI. Last time we talked about point-to-point communications and also collective communications. And from the collective communications, I gave you MPI reduce, and I explained to you how MPI reduce works. So what it does, there will be some value uh, in each processor, and when we use that function will, what will do, it will reduce all numbers in, it collect the values from different processors into the root processors. And one important thing here, when we are using reduce, there must be a root processor, the processor that does the reduction itself, because with MPI reduce, you have to use reduction operators, and reduction operator can be MPI plus, MPI product, MPI max, min, and so on. So there are many reduction reduction function. And by the way, you can create your own reduction operators as well. Okay, you can use it programmatically by reducing a number of, to handle multiple numbers and reduce them into single. For example, like average, for example, this is a single number. You can reduce it from multiple numbers, okay? And like standard deviations and many statistical value, you can get them in these ways. And always I repeat that when we are using MPI, we don't use it in just, because the examples that we give you now, they are very simple examples, and they can be done with a single processor. But we are showing you to do this kind of programming with very complex operations, computational operations, and so on. But here, of course, and I always repeat this because I want you to understand that when you have your own computational problem, it will be very complex. And by complex, that means it consists of different steps. In a single problem, maybe you have more than 10 line of codes, and believe me, before I had computation programming codes, consists maybe more than 4,000 line of codes, and all of this in just in a single program. So just imagine how the computational problems sometimes become very complicated, and so you need to handle it in a way that could solve it at the end. So you are using this. So we are giving you a very simple example, like just one number and so on, but always think when you are dealing with problems that will be very complex and very complicated problems. And when we say that there is a single value in a processor, actually that value may comes due to series of calculation or computing. Okay? And at the end, you get that number. Maybe also you can generate a vectors or matrix, or even you have your own data structures. And we talk about data structure. We say data structures, that is just like there is user-defined data structures that you can create your own structures, and in that structure can include different kind of data type, and so on. So now, if you are using very simple or primitive data type, it doesn't mean that always you are using primitive data type, but also now you know how to create your own data type by using class or struct and so on. And and how to put them in a specific data structure. You can put them in an array, one-dimension array, two-dimension array. You can put them in multi-dimension array. Also, you can put them in linked list. You can put them in a stack or a queue or a tree or hash tree, or you can put them in a grid. There are many data structures. This is what we are using them in computing. Okay, so at the end we are giving you very simple example, but we need you to generalize this when you are using your problem. You need to think about this and about how to use these strategies that you are using in programming in your own program. So this is the idea behind this. And last time about the collective communications, we gave you one function so far. There are many functions. We give you reduce. And in case of reduce, if you have a number, you have multiple processors, we said, and those multiple processors will be in a communicator. And most of the time, this communicator will be the global communicator, which is the default communicator. And each of these processors will be given a rank number from 0 and on. And so when you are using or reduce, and when you select a specific number of processor, that each of these processor will have a value. And when we use MPI reduce, the root, it can be any, we can design any one of these processors to be the root, but most of the time it will be we'll make it processor 0. So the reduction itself, the process of reduction, whether it is addition or production, multiplications or any operations of reduction operators, it will take place on the root processor. Okay, this is something that I want to focus on it, because today we will give you we'll give you something else. We're going to give you we're giving you what new function, and this function is MPI or reduce. So before we have MPI reduce, and now we have MPI or reduce. And the difference between this and reduce, in or reduce, reduction will take place in all participating processors. So all processors that we have in the communicator will participate in the reduction process. So at the end, we will have the same result or the same set of data in all processors. So each process in the communication provide a local input data value, and by this we mean that because once we declare any variable, and if we declare it in the parallel region, because we said that in MPI, the parallel region begins after MPI init, right? And it will be finalized by MPI finalize, because once we get to MPI finalize, then the MPI program will stop and it will destroy any variable and finalize everything. So it will clear the variable and everything. So everything in between these two functions will be executed in all processors. Will be executed in all processors. But I say that you can control. You can use if statement to control which code can be executed in which processors. And we give you before examples about that. And also in the on the assignment number 7, I give you example to because I want you to understand how to use if statement to control code in a program like that, because this program will be executed on all processors. But sometimes you want some code to be executed in a specific processor. So in this case, you have to use if statement, like if rank equal to 0, I want it to do so and so. If rank 1, if rank equal 1, then I want this processor to do so and so on. So you can, by if statement, you can distribute the you can distribute what we call, you can distribute the job between the processors. Okay, and this something always I want you to use in your program, because your program, you are not using just only this function, but also you use the other program or C++ statements that already you know to have. And by that you will make your computing possible, and also you can do anything, okay, because this is, at the end, any programming language is a language, right? So you can use this language to write any expression. This is also the same way in computer programming, we use it to solve some problems, right? And here we use it to solve computational problem. So you can use this programming language to solve any kind of problems by using the language statements that already you learn, in addition to the library, like MPI library, how to use it to solve your problem. So this, the difference, so the only difference between so the only difference between reduce and or reduce the numbers in each processor, and the reduction will take place in the root. But in MPI or reduce, all of them, they will execute the reduction operator. It doesn't matter which operators. It might be a multiplication, or MPI sum, or MPI product, or minimum, or maximum, or so on. Okay. So this and the syntax of MPI or reduce is similar to reduce, but because in or reduce we don't have root, in reduce there must be root, because the root, the processor which do the reduction process. But in this case, all processes that participating in the communicator will do the process of reduction. So in this case here, we don't have any root, and the syntax is very similar. So constant void send buff. This is it is a pointer. The pointer that when we declare it, we can store the data. So this, it will be declared in each processor. It will be a pointer, and it will store the input data that we need to reduce it. The second parameters is receive buff. Also this a second pointers, and also will be declared that in each processor memory, and this to receive values from other processor. So that one send the value which will be sent to other processor, and receive buff this for the memory area for the value that will be received from other processor in the communicator. Integer count, and of course this is the number of element that we will send. If it is single element, it will be 1. If it is more than that, it will be exactly the number. Like for example, if we are sending with dimension array, it will be the number of element in that array. Of course, we have to mention the data type, and already we know that there are different data types. All of them begin with MPI init, MPI float, MPI, and so on. And the next parameter is MPI op for operators, and this can be in one of the operators that we discussed before, like MPI sum, MPI prot, and so on. And finally, MPI com, and this for the global communicator. And for the global communicator, we say this like by default is like MPI com word, or we call it the global communicator. And this is the default communicator. You can, most of the time we are using it, but in very complicated computational problem, you can create like different, you can customize this to serve your purpose. But you should understand that only processor inside the communicator those are the only processors that will communicate with one another, whether to use point-to-point communication or collective communication. Okay, because it's just like encapsulated. They cannot be contacted with any processor outside this communicator, but this is something that you should know. And if you notice here, in this diagram, we have 4 processors. In this communicator, we have 4 processors ranked from 0 to 3, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. And if you notice that each of these processors in the memory, of course, it have 2 value or 2 elements. So we have 5, 1, the processor 0. In processor 1, we have 2, 3, we have 2 elements, and 7, 8. So when we are using all reduce, when we use all reduce function, we say that the reduction operation or the reduction process will take place in all processors. Okay, it's not like reduce, which takes place only on the root processor, but in here, all processors will participate in the reduction process. So, as I explained to you before, in the reduction, when we have like multiple elements in each processor, that the reduction will be element-wise. Like first, if you notice that in here, we have 5 and 1. And here we have 2 and 3, 7 and 8, 4 and 2. So in the reduction process, again, we have the same reduction also, because reduction will take place in all processors or in all process. So when we reduce the first element, then we will reduce the first element, because here we have sum. Then we will add 5 plus 2 equals 7. Plus 7 equals 17, 14, plus 4 equals to 18. So it will be 18 in all processors. All processors will do this reduction process. After that, we will reduce the second one. It will be 1 plus 3 plus 8 plus 2, also it will be 14. 14 also will be. So at the end, um, each processor will have this uh, uh, values and so on. And also it can do more reductions, because the idea of reduction is you have multiple numbers, and then you need to reduce them into a single numbers. And here we have we have this. So I'm going to copy the same program, and if you control, I think, so to be able to see it. So if you see, this is just a simple program, and the idea is just to show you how to use MPI or reduce. And so always when you are using MPI, there are some functions that all the time I want you to remember them, because even if you called for any interview, you will be asked about this very simple function, and this function, of course, is MPI init, and for rank, MPI com rank, and MPI com size, what they how they work, and what they do. And if you see that we have to declare integer for both of them, integer for rank and integer for size, but we have to provide these as addresses. Okay, we have to provide this by address, and once we provide them by addresses, there will be the value of the rank of that processor will be assigned to the rank, and the number of processor will be assigned to the size. Okay, so this is how function works, and you should remember that. And then we have integer, this local integer in all processors. This code, because here we have MPI init, and here we have MPI finalize. So any code here, any code will be run in all processors. And I want you to don't forget, those processors are completely independent. The only connectivity between them is through interconnect, because they are in a network. But when we say that the processors are completely independent, that means each processor is an independent computer. That means with all computer accessories, it has processors, memory, cache, register, everything. And the only communication is through the MPI, or message passing interface. Okay, this is the library that we are teaching now. So here, all of them, they will, so each one will, because once we put them in a communicator, then each processor should know its rank number, and also it should know how many process on the communicator. And here we are trying to, just to create like a number of these integers. We declare integer like local value equal to rank plus 1. It can be any value, but here, just for demonstrations, we need to create a local value, and this local value will be in each process, and this value is the rank number plus 1. So if the rank number is 0, then the local value will be 1. If the rank is 1, the local value in that process, it will be 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, and so on. So at the end, we want to show you that each of these process has a local value, and this value can be communicated only through MPI and this function. So when we use this function, and also we have global sum, because we need the sum of all these numbers together. So when we use MPI, what it does, so it will send the local to all processors, and it will receive an all processor, and all of them, they will be reduced in local sum, because here we have a single number, then the count will be, the number of elements will be 1, and also because the rank plus 1 is an integer. If it is float, here will be float, but this is an integer, MPI int, that means it is integer. And I'm sorry, actually, most of the time here in our example, we are using integers, MPI int, but it can be any data type. And to make it also more clear, you can create your own data type as well. Okay, and if you remember that when we discussed C and C++, also we discussed that how to create your user-defined data types. Also, you can put it here, and this really, it makes your program very powerful. It makes it makes it very powerful, especially if you have very complicated computational problems, and you need to create a data type that include or a number of whatever data, or doing many processes. You can put them right here. And MPI sum, this is the operator. This is the reduction operator. It can be any one of the reduction operators. And finally, the MPI com word, and we say this is the global communicator that created by default once you specify the number of processors. And finally, each processor will print the number of process, and it will print a local value, and the local value which is equal to the rank number plus 1, and global sum, and the sum, global sum, that means the sum of all of them, because all reduce will have the same result in all process. So all processes, they will have the same values. Okay, and so each one, it will bring its rank, local value, the value that it has, which is its rank plus 1, and the global sum. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and execute this and run it. And we say that if we need to compile it, we need to use MPI C++. And if there is no any error, then it will be, it doesn't show you anything like that. That means that's okay, there is no error. And if there is error, just you can go back and try to fix the error. And by the way, most of the time, no one is perfect, right? You are using your code, you're compiling your code, and sometimes maybe there's something missing there. You forget semicolon, or you didn't declare a variable, or you do anything. This very normal thing in programming. But the good thing here, always we have different way to debug our program. And when you compile, it will show you if you have any error. It will show you the what the error, and then you go to your source file and fix it. So once we compile it like this, by default, the executable file, which is the machine program or executable file, it will be a.out, okay, because we didn't use the option -o file name. If we use that, it will be given name. So now if we need to run it, again, we have to be mpi run, and we have to use -q and mp for number of processors. And if you use like 10 processor, then we can use a program, because we have to use a program, okay? And when we run it, it will give us this one. Now imagine just how many is. We use 10 processors, and each process print its rank, its local value. If you notice that in process 0, the local value is 1. Why? Because it is the rank number plus 1. And the global sum is 55 in all of them. And this shows you that when you use or reduce, the final result will be available on all processes. In all processes will be there. And if you imagine that sometimes we need values like this. For example, if you need to compute, if you are looking, if you need for the specific parameters. For example, if you are working in machine learning and implementing machine learning algorithm, and during your calculation you need a specific weight, or some weight or specific numbers, and to use that number also in computing, then you need to use this kind of of or reduced to make the final result available for all processors. Because processor, it doesn't do only reduction, but also it will do other kind of computation. And by the way, you can use multiple, you can use or reduce, you can use other function as well in the same, but of course you have to use your specific logic. But it doesn't mean that in a single program you are using only single function. No, you can use any number of functions that depend on your problem. Okay, depend on your computational problem. Okay, so now it will show you how this it will show this, like how it will show, if you see here, how all these numbers are reduced in all processors. Then each processor, they will sum, reduce the numbers, and there will be a global sum for all of them. So this example, just we discussed. The second function is broadcasting, MPI bcast. So now we are moving from reduce and or reduce, and that they are using reduce or reduction operators. From the name MPI bcast or broadcasting, that means a root or any processor, it will send data to all processors as a communicator. This is what we mean by broadcasting. It's just like, broadcasting, of course, they must be a root or somebody who distribute the same information to all processes. So this is how the MPI bcast work. It's very simple, and sometimes we need a specific value. For example, imagine that the root process or process number 0, it did some computation and it get a single number, and after that he want to broadcast this number to all processes because they need that number for computation. Sometimes they need information like this. Okay, so once other processors get this number, then after that they will do their own, their own computation. So this is the same. That means the same numbers. It will be called the. Is commonly used when one process has some data that all other process need to have. Okay, so that means so this is the root or 0, and those are the other processor number from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and those are the rank of the processor. So the syntax is very simple again for both. This is the input data, the data that we need to broadcast, and count how many elements. Is it a single element or multiple element? We should tell how many elements that we need to send. MPI data type also is now become known for you, but we have to specify the root, because the root is the process which broadcast or which send that value to all other process, and also we have to use MPI. We have to use MPI COM or global communicator, because this is to identify that these processors are in this communicator, because as I said that there will be multiple communicators, and each communicator with its name. But when we are using like in this computing in this way, that we are using the same communicators, that we will use the default one, which is global communicator, and also which is and its name is MPI COM _ word. So again, we're going to show you this idea about this broadcasting. Just remember, broadcasting is a number or data will be in the root process, and it will be broadcasted to all other processors. Okay. Okay, so now last time we used L. Okay, here MP7 CPB. So again here, there is no anything fancy here. So everything by now should be very familiar, but because we are using root, and again, I'm going to repeat this. MPI program is it is a single program, multiple data, okay, or single instruction, multiple data. That means the same program will be executed in all process. But how to control the code inside the because sometimes you need some processor to execute a specific kind of code inside this program. So we have to use if statement. So why we use if statement here? So all this will be inside. So each rank will kick if it is not the processor number 0, it's not going to execute this, because this directed to the rank 0 only. Okay, so like each process will execute this code And when it comes to this here, it will see its rank. If it is 0, then it will execute this. Otherwise, uh, it's not going to execute it. So it will let it go. So if it is rank 0, then we have this data which we have already declared here as integer. We assign 100 to it. Again, I'm telling this, but you can do any kind of computation here. Okay, any kind of computation in the root. It can be very simple, can be very complex and very complicated. It doesn't matter. But here we are giving you a data. Maybe you have like very long matrix multiplications or any kind of optimization, or you are doing any algorithm to get a specific data, and at the end you will have a single data or multiple data or whatever. But here, just to make things very simple for you, we assigned a variable, we call it data, and we assign this 100 to this data. That is it. Because the idea, we want to show you how this root process will broadcast to the other processor. Okay. So the other, after that we have this MPI bcast, the data. This is the data that we need to broadcast it. The count, which is 1, only single element. If you have more than one element, also you should mention it here. The data type, and 0 is the root. Only root will do that. And the global communicator, and so on. So after that, each process will print rank and data. Okay, because just to make sure that the data is stored only in process 0. But once we run this code, the root processor or 0 process will broadcast this value to all processes. So at the end, each of the process will have the same value, and we will print it here. And this is what we are going to do that. Okay. So I'm lazy. Just what's this? P7 finalize data, so everything okay. MPI C++. MPI, I'm sorry, init. We add something there. So sometimes when you get something like that, don't frustrate. Just see, try what is and it's very clear here. There is we don't have MPI A init. There is something missing here. Okay, so we need to fix it. And just go back. Especially sometimes when you copy it from place to place, we will see init data argv data MPI init argv argv. Okay, this is okay there. MPI. Okay, yeah, I understand why. Error, MPI int has not been declared. Okay, let's go. Declared, does that mean MPI? I don't see MPI underscore init argv data. I don't see any. MPI MPI run sorry, MPI C++. Yeah, so now we don't have any, because when we copied there, we didn't copy the hash sign. And now if we want to run it, then MPI run MPI run Q MPI. If we make it like 10, MPI run 10. Okay, we'll get this again. If you see how this broadcasts, so it gives you the rank number, right? So it's like 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Let's take this. So this is the rank, 0, each one rank, and all of them, they have 100, and that means the process 0 successfully broadcast 100 to all processors. Okay, they broadcast to all processors, and this is how it works. This is how it works. So this, yeah. So do you have any question?